Rain slammed against my windshield so hard I could barely see the road ahead. Midnight highways always felt lonely, but that night felt cursed. I was halfway home from another exhausting shift when I spotted a black Mercedes parked crooked on the shoulder. Hazard lights blinking. Driver's door open. At first, I kept driving. Then I saw her. Standing beside the car in heels soaked by rain, hugging herself against the cold like she was trying not to fall apart. My boss. Vanessa Carter. CEO of Carter and Vale Media. The woman who terrified entire boardrooms with one look. The same woman who once made a senior manager cry during a meeting without raising her voice. And somehow, she looked broken. I hit the brakes. The moment I stepped out, icy rain drenched my jacket. "Ms. Carter?" I called. She turned fast, eyes wide with panic before recognition softened them. "Ethan?" Her mascara had smeared slightly beneath her eyes. I'd never seen her look human before. "What happened?" "My car died." Her voice trembled. "And my phone battery's gone." I looked around. Empty highway. No gas stations. No traffic. "You shouldn't be out here alone." She swallowed hard, glancing toward the darkness behind her like she was afraid someone might appear. That's when she stepped closer. Close enough for me to notice she was shaking. Then she whispered the words that changed everything. "Take me home, please." Something about the way she said it didn't sound like a request. It sounded like fear. And when headlights suddenly appeared in the distance behind us, Vanessa grabbed my arm. "Drive," she whispered urgently. "Now." I didn't ask questions. I just unlocked the passenger door. And the second she climbed into my truck, I realized this night was about to ruin my life forever. The silence inside my truck felt heavier than the storm outside. Vanessa sat curled against the passenger door, arms wrapped tightly around herself while rain streaked across the windows like tears. I kept glancing at her. She noticed. Eyes on the road, Ethan. Even exhausted and terrified, she still sounded like my boss. I almost laughed. "Sorry." A black SUV appeared briefly in my rearview mirror before disappearing again into the rain. Vanessa noticed it too. Her jaw tightened. "Do you know them?" I asked quietly. "No." "Too fast." A lie. I gripped the steering wheel harder. "Are we in danger?" She stared ahead for several seconds before answering. "I don't know anymore." That sentence sat in my chest like a stone. At the office, Vanessa Carter was untouchable. Sharp suits. Cold expressions. Billion-dollar confidence. But tonight? She looked exhausted. Fragile. Human. I drove toward downtown Chicago while thunder rolled overhead. "You live alone?" she suddenly asked. "Yeah." "Good." I frowned. "Good?" She hesitated. "I just don't want anyone else involved." My stomach tightened. Involved in what? When we stopped at a red light, she finally looked at me directly. Her eyes were red. Not from rain. From crying. "I know people think I'm heartless," she said softly. "Maybe I earned that reputation." I didn't answer. Because honestly? She had. She gave a tired smile. "But tonight I really need someone I can trust." The light turned green. I should have taken her to a hotel. Or a police station. Or literally anywhere except my apartment. But instead, I drove her there anyway. Because something in her voice made me believe she was running from something much worse than a broken car. And deep down, I wanted to protect her. My apartment was embarrassingly small for someone like Vanessa Carter. The moment she stepped inside, she looked around at the cramped kitchen, old couch, and stacks of unpaid bills on the counter. For the first time ever, I felt ashamed of my life. "Sorry," I muttered. "It's not exactly. It's warm." Her answer surprised me. She slipped off her wet heels and winced. That's when I noticed the blood. "Wait, your ankle." She looked down like she hadn't even realized it herself. A nasty cut ran along the side of her foot. "You're hurt." "It's nothing. It's bleeding through the floor." I grabbed the first aid kit from the bathroom while she sat carefully on the couch. The second I knelt in front of her, tension filled the room. Vanessa Carter wasn't used to people taking care of her. And I definitely wasn't used to touching her. "You can fire me Monday," I joked nervously, cleaning the wound. "But tonight you're listening to me." A faint smile appeared. "Bossing around your CEO? Dangerous move. You're off the clock." For a second, she actually laughed. A real laugh. Soft. Beautiful. And suddenly she didn't seem like the terrifying woman from the office anymore. She seemed lonely. Then her phone buzzed in her purse. Her entire body froze. The screen lit up with one name. Daniel. She immediately declined the call. "He your boyfriend?" I asked carefully. Her silence answered enough. Another call came instantly. Then another. Then another. 23 missed calls. My chest tightened. That's not normal. Vanessa stared at the phone like she hated it. "You don't understand." "Then help me understand." She looked at me with fear I couldn't ignore anymore. Finally, barely above a whisper, she said, "If he finds me here, he'll destroy you too." And before I could respond, someone knocked on my apartment door. 3 slow knocks. Vanessa's face went completely pale. "He found me." Every muscle in my body locked. The knock came again. Slow. Controlled. Terrifying. Vanessa stood so fast she nearly stumbled. "Don't open it." My heart pounded. "Who is he?" "He's dangerous." Another knock. Louder this time. I moved toward the window carefully and peeked through the blinds. A tall man in an expensive black coat stood outside under the hallway light. Calm. Patient. Like he already owned the place. "That him?" Vanessa nodded weakly. Then my phone vibrated. Unknown number. I answered carefully. "Hello?" A smooth male voice replied instantly. "You have something that belongs to me." Ice flooded my veins. "I think you have the wrong number." "No," he chuckled softly. "I don't." Vanessa covered her mouth, panic growing in her eyes. "I'm bringing her home," the man continued. "Open the door, Ethan." Hearing my name nearly stopped my breathing. How the hell did he know who I was? I hung up immediately. Vanessa grabbed my arm. "We have to leave." "Back exit?" She nodded urgently. I killed the apartment lights while she slipped her heels back on with shaking hands. Another knock echoed through the apartment. Then his voice. "Vanessa. Calm. Cold. Don't make this difficult." Her breathing turned uneven. I realized this wasn't just some toxic boyfriend situation. This was control. Fear. Possession. We slipped into the hallway behind my building and rushed toward my truck. Rain soaked us instantly. I unlocked the doors fast. But before we climbed in, a black SUV turned the corner. Headlights aimed directly at us. Vanessa whispered one terrified word. "Run." Then the SUV accelerated straight toward us. I slammed the truck into reverse just before the SUV hit us. Tires screamed against wet pavement. Vanessa gasped as we shot backward into the alley. The black SUV stopped suddenly, blocking the exit instead. 2 men stepped out. Not random thugs. Security professionals. Big. Silent. Dangerous. "What the hell is happening?" I shouted. Vanessa looked seconds away from breaking apart. "Just drive." I swerved onto the sidewalk and sped through a narrow side street while the SUV chased us through downtown traffic. Rain blurred the city lights into streaks of gold and red. My pulse hammered violently. "You need to tell me the truth." Vanessa stared down at her trembling hands. Then finally, "Daniel isn't my boyfriend." I looked at her. "He's my husband." That hit like a truck. "What?" "We've been separated for months." Tears filled her eyes. "But he won't let me leave." The SUV appeared behind us again. "He controls everything," she continued shakily. "My company. My accounts. My schedule. My life." "Then call the police." She laughed bitterly. "Daniel owns half the city." I wanted to tell her that was impossible. But judging by the men chasing us? Maybe not. We finally escaped into an underground parking garage and killed the headlights. Silence swallowed us. Vanessa suddenly started crying quietly. Not dramatic sobbing. The kind of crying people do when they've been strong too long. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You shouldn't be involved in this." I looked at her differently now. Not as my boss. Not as some powerful CEO. Just a woman trapped in a nightmare. Without thinking, I reached for her hand. She held on tightly. Like she'd been drowning for years. And for the first time that night, she leaned her head against my shoulder. We hid inside the parking garage for almost an hour. The storm outside softened into distant thunder, but tension still suffocated the air between us. Vanessa finally spoke. "There's something else." I looked over. Her expression scared me more than the chase did. Daniel found out I was planning to expose him. For what? He's laundering money through Carter and Vale. I stared at her. That's impossible. I have proof. She reached into her purse and pulled out a silver flash drive. This contains everything. Offshore accounts. Bribes. Illegal contracts. My mind spun. This wasn't a relationship problem anymore. This was criminal. And he thinks you still have it. I do still have it. I stared at the drive. Suddenly everything made sense. The fear. The chase. The desperation. Daniel wasn't trying to save his marriage. He was trying to silence her. Why trust me with this? I asked. Vanessa's eyes met mine softly. Because you're the only person who stopped tonight. That hit harder than it should have. She gave a sad smile. Everyone else in my life wanted something from me. And I don't? You wanted nothing. Her voice cracked slightly. That's why I trust you. For a second, neither of us moved. Then her phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't Daniel. It was a text. Unknown number. I know where you're hiding. Another message arrived instantly. The accountant is already dead. Vanessa's face lost all color. Oh my God. What accountant? The man helping me expose Daniel. A third message appeared. You're next. Then suddenly, the parking garage lights shut off. Complete darkness swallowed us. And footsteps echoed nearby. Vanessa grabbed my arm so hard her nails dug into my skin. The footsteps grew louder in the darkness. Slow. Intentional. Hunting. I reached blindly for the tire iron under my seat while trying to keep my breathing steady. A flashlight beam suddenly sliced through the garage. Then another. They're here, Vanessa whispered. My survival instinct screamed at me to run. But there was nowhere to go. The SUV blocked the main exit. And footsteps echoed behind us too. We were trapped. One of the men shouted, "Mr. Brooks wants the drive." Vanessa trembled beside me. I leaned close. When I say run, you run. No, Ethan. Trust me. The flashlight beams moved closer. 3 men now. Maybe 4. I suddenly slammed the truck horn hard. The deafening sound exploded through the garage, disorienting them for a split second. Now! We sprinted between concrete pillars while shouting erupted behind us. Footsteps thundered after us. Vanessa nearly slipped, but I caught her hand and pulled her forward. We reached a stairwell door. Locked. Damn it. The men were seconds away. One grabbed my shoulder from behind. I swung the tire iron instinctively. The crack echoed violently. The man collapsed. Another punched me hard across the jaw. Pain exploded through my skull. Vanessa screamed. I hit the ground as someone grabbed the flash drive from her purse. Then a calm voice echoed through the garage. Enough. Daniel stepped from the shadows. Perfect suit. Perfect hair. Dead eyes. He looked at Vanessa like she was property. You embarrassed me tonight. Vanessa's voice shook with rage. You killed people. Daniel smiled coldly. Power always costs something. Then he looked down at me. And you, he said quietly, should have stayed out of this. One of his men raised a gun. And Vanessa suddenly stepped in front of me. Don't touch him. For the first time all night? Daniel looked angry. Rainwater dripped from the ceiling of the garage as silence stretched between us. Daniel stared at Vanessa standing protectively in front of me. Something dark shifted in his expression. You're choosing him, he asked quietly. Vanessa's breathing trembled. I'm choosing myself. The words hit like a bomb. Daniel laughed once. Cold. Disbelieving. You think this boy can save you? I know you never will. That snapped something inside him. He stepped forward violently, grabbing Vanessa's arm hard enough to make her cry out. Every instinct in me exploded. I tackled him before thinking. We crashed into the concrete floor. Punches. Shouting. Blood. Daniel wasn't just rich, he was vicious. He slammed my head against the ground, growling into my ear. She belongs to me. No, Vanessa shouted through tears. I never did. Suddenly police sirens echoed outside the garage. Everyone froze. Daniel's men cursed. Vanessa looked shocked. Police? I stared at her. You thought I wouldn't call for help? While hiding earlier, I'd secretly sent our location and Daniel's information to a detective friend from college. Daniel realized it too late. Red and blue lights flooded the garage entrance. Officers stormed in shouting commands. Daniel tried to run. Vanessa stepped forward, voice shaking but strong. "He murdered people," she yelled. "I have evidence." One officer recovered the flash drive from the fallen guard. Daniel looked at Vanessa with pure hatred. Then at me. "You ruined everything." But for the first time all night, he sounded afraid. As officers dragged him away in handcuffs, Vanessa finally collapsed emotionally. I caught her before she hit the ground. And there, surrounded by flashing police lights and rain, she buried her face against my chest and sobbed. 3 months later, Chicago finally felt peaceful again. Daniel Brooks was awaiting trial on corruption, fraud, and multiple homicide charges. The story dominated national headlines for weeks. And Vanessa Carter disappeared from public life completely. Most people assumed she'd fled the country. Even I hadn't heard from her since the night of the arrest. Until Friday evening. I was finishing work at a small marketing firm when my receptionist smiled strangely. "There's someone here asking for you." I walked into the lobby. And froze. Vanessa stood there wearing a simple cream-colored sweater instead of her usual designer suits. No bodyguards. No cold expression. Just her. She smiled nervously. "Hey, Ethan." My chest tightened instantly. "You disappeared." "I had to." She looked down briefly. "Witness protection. Court hearings. Therapy. Therapy." Hearing that somehow made her feel even more real. "You okay now?" I asked softly. She nodded. "Better than before." For a moment we just stared at each other like strangers trying to remember something important. Then she held up a small paper bag. "I brought coffee," she said awkwardly. I laughed for the first time in weeks. And suddenly all the tension between us returned at once. Warm. Dangerous. Beautiful. "I owe you my life," she whispered. "You don't owe me anything." Her eyes softened. "That's the problem." Silence lingered. Then she stepped closer. Close enough for me to smell vanilla perfume and winter air. "I kept thinking about that night," she admitted quietly. "About you." My heart pounded. "So what happens now?" Vanessa smiled through slightly emotional eyes. "This time," she whispered, taking my hand gently, "I'm asking you to take me home because I want to stay." And for the first time since that stormy night, neither of us was running anymore.